this is Mitzi. I've been asked to show you guys how we make our sushi here. I know some of you guys think, oh man, not sushi, it's raw. Don't want raw food, raw fish. Well, actually the definition for sushi is sour rice. And the way the rice is made is with rice wine vinegar. So when you roll up sushi in the sour rice, you can put raw, you can put cooked. It don't matter what kind of fish. You don't even have to put fish. You can just put vegetables, cream cheese. You can make sushi any way you want it. But I'm going to show you how we make it with crab and cream cheese and a few vegetables. And I hope that you end up making it yourself and can finally say, wow, sushi's pretty good.
So here's the ingredients that I've bought to make my sushi. You don't have to buy these brands. And here are the ingredients that you'll need. You may want to stop and write these down. So I'm going to start out by getting my rice ready. I'm going to take a little while to be showing you how I do this rice, and the reason is a lot of people don't realize that rice is so starchy. So I'm going to measure out 2 parts rice to 3 parts water, and I'm going to be using my rice cooker to make this rice for my sushi. I'm doing this to show you how much starch is on rice. If you'll notice as I'm stirring it up, the water is getting milky. That is starch coming off the rice. My son, if I don't do this, my youngest son, it irritates his stomach. So we realize that it's the starch when I don't wash the rice. So here's the first washing, and you'll see it's almost like milk. So you'll want to drain this off. We're going to add some more water and do a second rinse. I'm going to keep doing this until my water gets pretty clear. If you've ever cooked rice and you notice that it's like a gelatinous texture to it, it's because that the starch has come out into the water, and then as the water boiled down, it left that sticky starch. This sushi rice, it's going to be sticky anyway. That's what you want, but it's not going to be so gelatinous if you rinse it. So we're rinsing it again. It's starting to look pretty clear. Just keep stirring it around. Gonna rinse it again. It would be really easy to skip this process, but it makes your rice better when you do this. So I'm going to rinse probably one final time here. And my water's looking pretty clear. So it's ready to rinse, or actually to drain, and put in our rice cooker. If you'll remember, I put 2 of the little cups of rice The little cup came with my rice cooker, and this spoon came with my rice cooker. You don't want to scrape inside of your rice cooker with anything metal. Always use plastic. So now I'm going to do 3 parts of water. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to measure it by hand. And this is the rice wine vinegar. I'm only going to put a half a teaspoon. It doesn't take a whole lot to make the sushi rice. So now I'm going to give it a good stir and let this be cooking while I chop up my vegetables. I'm peeling the outer layer off of the carrot. I don't like the earthy taste of the outer layer of a carrot. You can leave it on if you want to. When you're making sushi, it does not take a lot of vegetables. You can see this cucumber, it's got a bad spot in it, but I'm just going to cut that out. You can use a lot of vegetables. A lot of people waste vegetables because they see a little bad spot, and just cut it out and use it. So now I'm going to cut the ends off of my cucumber. And earlier I said I was going to chop my vegetables, but this is not really chopping vegetables. This is cutting vegetables into matchsticks. And I'll show you here in a minute how I do that. So let's start with the carrot. And I'm going to slice my carrot pretty thin. And then I'm just cutting it up into matchsticks. You want them like this to be able to lay out into your sushi and roll it up. I always have a plate. I do all my vegetables, I put them on a plate, and just pick and choose off that plate what I'm going to put. Now it looks like my rice is done. You want to give it a stir. And as you can see, this rice, it is sticky. Even though I have rinsed it like crazy, it's still sticky. And that's what you want. You want this to cool down, cool enough that you can use your hands. You're going to need to use your hands to make sushi. So I'm going to leave the lid off and let that be cooling. Now I'm going back to my cucumber, and I'm going to cut it up the same way I did my carrot. I'm going to cut it up into slices and then cut those slices into matchsticks. You don't have to use the seeds. You can just use the outer part of the cucumber. I use it all. Now what I have is an avocado. You want to cut this all the way around. Normally, when you get it cut around, you would twist it, and as you can see here, this seed is loose. Normally the seed's going to be stuck inside. Most people whack it with a knife and twist it and get that seed out. But this one came out real easy. So I'm going to take a spoon and get all the avocado out. Turn it upside down so it'll be easier to cut. You can't let avocado sit out very long. It's going to start turning brown. It's a really delicate vegetable, but it's a really good vegetable, especially in sushi. So I'm going to slice my avocado. And fan it out. Next, what I'm using is imitation crab. I have used smoked salmon before, but today I'm using imitation crab, and it's the long strips. I'm going to cut these in half. You can use shrimp, or like I said, you don't even have to use fish. So next, the cream cheese. And you can see that I'm just cutting strips of the cream cheese. I'm going to cut several slices and then I'm going to cut them in half. Cream cheese is pretty hard to work with. It can be sticky. I don't recommend buying the whipped cream cheese. I recommend that you buy the block. What we have here is what you would use to roll up your sushi. It is called a sushi mat. You can get these at Walmart. This is seaweed paper. You see there's a shiny side, and then there's a smooth shiny side. You want that side up. So now we're going to start putting our rice. I may be a little heavy-handed with my rice. Spread it out as thin as you possibly can. Making sure to get it all the way to the edges. I probably should stop putting rice right now and spread what I've got all the way out. When I started making this video, I didn't realize how much rice I had until I started rolling it. So you'll see here in a minute that I really should have put less rice, but it tastes good. If you use just your hands to press the rice, be sure and keep your hands wet, because if you don't wet your hands, that rice is going to really stick to it. So now we're going to add our vegetables. I've got some cucumber, a couple of carrots, the crab meat, one and about a half of one, so it'll be the right size. I'm only putting one piece of crab. Crab's a little strong. And now my cream cheese. And then after the cream cheese, let's go ahead and put some avocado. Now the fun part, we're going to get to roll this up. Wash and dry your hands before you start rolling up. Now the fun part, let's start rolling this sushi up. You want to take your hands, your fingers, and be sure and keep everything as tight together as you can, especially this first round that you start. As soon as you get it down, give it a good squeeze. And then you can continue to roll and squeeze until you've completely made your sushi roll. And there it is. What I use to cut sushi is actually a bread knife. I found that this really works the best to make a clean cut. So carefully slice your rolls and plate. Sushi always looks best on a white plate. Now what I'm going to do is put a little bit of pickled ginger on my plate. We want to make it as pretty as possible. And now a little bit of wasabi, which is made out of horseradish. You don't want to eat too much of this at a time. It will really burn your sinuses. But it tastes so good. And now, sriracha mayonnaise. Look how pretty and tasty. Thank you to the farm in Dobson, and for James Bricky, my sound tech. Please like, share, and comment. And as always, thank you for watching Mitzi's Market Fresh Meals.